Salutations, welcome to my review of the Giovanna Super Action Statue figure from Medicos. This is the pink version, which is the closest color scheme to the anime, and also objectively the best, because the blue and purple ones look funky. The black one also looks really good, but whatever. The detail on this figure is really good. All the highlights and details on the matte pink suit stand out really well. It's all appropriately flamboyant. And in terms of posability, the arms can go up about this far. It's not great, but it's not the worst either. The arms can do a full 360, and they can move separately from the shoulders of the suit. The elbow is a double joint, allowing it to bend this far in and fully extend outwards. The wrist is a hinge joint connected to a peg. The neck is on a ball joint, but mine is extremely loose and just falls off all the time. Probably because I got mine used. The head is on a hinged ball joint, allowing for some good range of motion on the head, and there's a ball joint at the torso, letting the figure lean back about this far and forward about this far. When he leans all the way forward, the back does have a bit of a gap, but the front is seamless for the most part. All the lines connect very well and everything. There's a really well hidden waist swivel, but it also feels kind of limited. Legs can go out about this far, but they're limited by the coat. Double jointed knees can bend back about that far, and there's a tiny bit of thigh swivel there. Feet can rock back and forth, there's not much pivot though. And there also is a small toe hinge. Included with this figure is the bog standard stand for these figures. It's 3 points for articulation, 3 hinges. It can pull up the figure, I guess that's about it. Has a nice logo here on the bottom, and there's not much else to say about it. It's pretty basic, it just plugs right back into the hole in the back of the figure. It's just a peg, and yeah, that's it. It can hold up the figure if you need it to, and yeah, it's just a stand. So first up for our accessories, we have the alternate angry or yelling head. It looks just as good as the other head, which is to say, really good actually. Hair looks like it was dry brushed to bring out the detail. The eyes, in particular, stand out. They are painted very well. We have a plate and a teacup full of unknown liquid. There's also a piece of bread with a hole in it, which, if you haven't seen the show, is more than a little suspicious, but it's so you can put Popo's lighter into it, which is recreating a scene from the Black Sabbath fight. Yeah, that's about all you can do with it. You might be able to take the flame out, but I'm not sure if you're supposed to, so I'm not going to risk it. The last accessory is one of Giorno's brooches that he wears on his suit. It's really well detailed and really small, so don't lose it, because there are no extras. Giorno comes with a hand that lets him hold his teacup, and he also can hold the plate in one of his open hands. Additionally, he comes with a hand for the lighter, and it looks great, fits in perfectly. I like to use one of his open hands to kind of shield the flame from the wind. I think it gets a really good effect. In the box, you'll notice these two kind of weird, funky looking hands. They don't really look like fists, but they're not open either. They look kind of squashed if you look at them from the side. And that's because they are used to recreate Giorno's iconic Gangnam Star pose where he's pulling at his jacket. If you get it in the right position, they look great, but I can't really think of any other uses for them, so I mean, I'm glad they're here. Actually, I'd definitely rather have them than not, but it's still kind of strange. Overall, this figure looks great. Honestly, the detailed sculpt and paint application kind of save it in my eyes, because the articulation is quite lacking. You can get some good poses, no doubt, but he kind of has the flexibility of an overweight middle-aged man instead of a teenage mobster. I'd probably give the figure like a 7 out of 10. It would get like an 8, or maybe even a 9, but again, the articulation holds it back quite a bit. Also, I think I might have mentioned, but mine has a few unwanted quirks, like the neck falling off and some weird stiff joints and some weird loose joints and yada yada yada. But that's probably just because I got it used, and if you buy yours new, I'm sure you wouldn't have that issue. So yeah, despite its flaws, I'd probably recommend this one, especially if you're a fan of the character, and it looks great on a shelf, and yeah, that's all. Also, I noticed this in editing. I literally don't know where the footage of all of the hands went, and I don't feel like recording it again. So, Merry Christmas. You get a still image.